Welcome, welcome. How are you? That's all right. You can choose to be on or off video. It's fine either way. Let's see. Let me turn my volume. I'm not hearing you. I think I might have unplugged my phones because I'm not hearing you. Let's see. All right. Say something, Grammy. I can. Awesome. Let me turn up a little bit more. All right. Hopefully the microphone works. Have a clear recording. I'm going to load the audio and or um, just the workshop altogether so that we can have like a library, if you will, of these client readiness trainings. I like the professional development, but I'm like, no, we're gonna be client ready. We're getting client ready for our independent businesses and our virtual assistant services. So that way we can really advance the progress of clients saying, yep, we're gonna go with you guys because we know the VAs that you all have in your network and that you partner with and that you have referred to my fellow colleagues are so ready. They're so much better. They're just everything great, right? And we know that and we believe that about the VAs that come to our network and that just have just grown with us, have partnered with us, and that have been referred to us over the years. So we're really looking forward to utilizing these opportunities to help you all get better clients faster. That is the ultimate goal, better clients faster. So I'm going to grab my screen. Give me one moment. I'm still getting set up. How have you been, Grammy? It's been some time since we've connected. How are you? Oh, I don't have your volume. Can you hear me? I can't hear you. Okay, I can hear you now. That's okay. 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 All right. Well, I'm glad to hear that it was a great experience. We definitely want you to have more experiences, and we want to encourage some long-term experiences as well. That way, you don't have to keep searching for client, right? Like we like to tell the clients, teach the clients, assure the clients if you get with a VA and you stick with that VA for a while, you see the effect of the relationship, right? Like we all need support in entrepreneurship. And so that support, a lot of times small business owners, independent, contractors, sometimes we feel like we're out here alone trying to figure it out. But that VA client relationship builds that support system that we so greatly need. And then the momentum also occurs, right? So, Grammy, as you're working with your client, you're taking things off their list. You're accomplishing things for them that they were not able to do on their own, or they weren't doing as well because they were doing too many things. And so that relationship, that ongoing relationship is what we really try to encourage clients, gets you the best possible outcome on both ends, right? Because you get up going every day and you know exactly who you're working with. You know, for the most part, the work you're going to be accomplishing, and it's work that you're content with doing because you got to choose the opportunity just as much as they got to choose you to work with, right? So it creates a really positive and growing growth opportunity on for both the virtual assistant and both the client. So we really aspire for more long-term VA client relationships as well. Mhm. All right. Well, today's workshop, we're going to talk about the theme of, what to ask the client on the interview. And we come up with these topics based on the feedback that we get from you, the VAs. So please continue to give us feedback. Please continue to ask us questions, because the more we get the same question, the more we know there's a need to have this conversation. There's a need to facilitate this workshop for client readiness. And so we can talk about that. And Grammy, if you have some other questions that pop up, I am here for it. I look forward to sharing this time. And the benefit of it is it's kind of like hot seat coaching, right? Like you get direct, independent, personal coaching on this call tonight. If someone else drops in, that's great. If they don't, it's fine. We're still going to have a good conversation. Does that sound good to you? Awesome. So when we talk about the idea of the client interview, Now, here I'm in the US, right? I'm Tawana with Virtual Assist, powered by Bootstrap Dreams. And we help connect virtual assistants with small business owners, primarily women small business owners, because we don't want them to have to choose whether to be present or provide. We want them to do both. We want them to be able to live and thrive. And same with the virtual assistants. The virtual assistants that come to our network want the same thing that independent business owners or small business owners here in the US want. They want flexibility. They want to be present with their families. They also want to be able to provide for their families. They want to be able to do work that they enjoy doing from day to day, right? Doesn't mean they work every day, just like we want time off, they want time off. It just means that together we get more accomplished. And so in the US, we often do, and this is not just US specific, so don't hold that to me too tight, but particularly here in Western culture US, we like to do interviews. We like to do interviews. We like to get to know the person. We like to, ask questions, whether they are, a lot of times they lean hard on skills questions. I like to encourage people to also lean on behavioral questions. And I want the interviewee, so you, the virtual assistant, to have the courage to ask questions back to the interviewer, because it's not just about them choosing you. It's about you making the right decision for yourself on whether or not they're a good fit for you as well. Okay. So when we think about that, we think about, why is it that we want the opportunity in the first place? Because the why we want the opportunity a lot of times is going to drive our answers that we express. It's going to drive the truth or authenticity that we choose to share or try to hide. It's also going to derive whether or not we take an opportunity that we feel is good for us, or one that's actually going to harm us because we're being a bit desperate, right? And life is tough. And there are sometimes circumstances where it's like, I need to make the money and I need it now because XYZ is happening in my life. That's not right. That's not wrong. It just is. Sometimes, though, when we move with that mindset, we might accept an opportunity that we don't really love. We might accept an opportunity that doesn't offer us the right income. We might accept an opportunity that we end up quitting sooner than later because it just does not align with our core values. It doesn't make us feel good, and it certainly doesn't reflect who we believe we are and what we believe we deserve when it comes to being professionals. So it doesn't really matter where we are in the globe. There are core values and core needs and core aspirations that we all want to attain. Knowing those are going to be very, very important. So when we think about why we want the opportunity, and we can answer the why for ourselves, we can better respond to a person asking us, well, what would make you a great candidate for this position? Or what would make you a great candidate to work with my company? Or why should I choose you over another virtual assistant, right? All common questions. How we answer them could determine the outcome, right? So when we think about our why, for me, I chose to leave a traditional career, employment career, because I wanted to be more present as a mother. I'm not shy about my story. I share I'm a single mom by divorce. My daughter was only not even quite 2 years old, when our family dynamic changed. And as she got older, it only became more clear to me that, hey, I need to be more available, not less available, right? And different leadership changes at the job that I had, the career I had at the time. The distance, it was a 2-hour commute going and it was a 2-hour commute coming home. That's 4 whole hours out of day lost, right? Just gone. I'm not saying it's a waste. However, it made it difficult for me to grow in parenthood with my daughter. It made it difficult for me to get her to new activities that she could start doing because she was getting of age to do certain activities. And so I had to make the tough decision on, do I want to keep this career, or do I want to be a mom and figure out how to choose a career or have a career path that fits with my motherhood? And so that's one solid reason as to why I went into entrepreneurship, because I wanted that flexibility to make my own schedule. Now, those of us who have been entrepreneurs since COVID, so much of our lives are remote, right? So much of our lives are remote. And so those decisions may not be as difficult as it once was. This was pre-COVID, what I'm sharing about. But now in the COVID, it comes with its own challenges. Sometimes having everybody at home it's a lot harder to work with than when we compartmentalized, right, our working careers. So, Ruby, do you have anything that you'd like to share, thinking about why we want to be, independent in our work or in our careers, and why we want to be, virtual assistants? Do you have any thoughts you'd like to share on that? Oh, we lost your volume again.
Sorry. Can you hear me now?
I can.
Yes, I have experienced 13 years in sales industry before a pandemic, and it's all also commuting. And since I was before my motherhood, that's fine for me. But when I experienced motherhood, I just like you, I much uh, like to have more time with my kids,
Mhm.
and yes, I want to spend, and that's why I sought a remote job opportunities.
Mhm.
And luckily, I found you, and I
Mhm.
was hired as VA, as my actually that is my dream job.
Mhm.
And um, I got a correct or clients, but unfortunately, it was not lasted for long,
Mhm.
and that's why I transitioned in a BPO industry. But I still chose remote work from home setup so I can
Mhm.
have more time with my kids.
Yes.
And since when the company become mandatory to work on site,
Mhm.
I was decided to leave the job since I don't have money that those time.
Yeah.
And now I want to pursue my career and embark a uh, new career opportunities in EVA. Since actually this is my dream job as
I
a
love
VA,
that.
where I see myself to grow in this industry and to know more uh, the day-to-day challenges, or I mean, on how to operate tools. Although I have experience operating a Trello, Discord, but I feel like I want to um, master or the VA job, and I now want a long-term opportunity to work with to work with my business partner, or
Yes.
so
Thank you for sharing.
so I
Mhm.
really, actually, Tawana, I prayed after my 2 years, and I was since January, I was looking for or interviewed for more or multiple employer work from home setup in a BPO company, but I was failed that pass the interviews. So I guess it's my God's will to find a VA job, and I was
Mhm.
praying that Tawana would catch up to me again.
Wow.
So I guess this is my call to see you again, and I can I see myself. This is a wish granted, pray granted to see you
Yeah.
again.
Wow, that is amazing. And I share with people, I literally tell people what happens in this particular business like encounter. I don't even like I tell people all the time, these are such unique encounters because yes, as professionals, we have, some HR background. I am a project manager by trade, over 17 years experience as a project manager. So helping people pick people to make teams. That is what I did for a living in my full-time career before going into entrepreneurship. And so I do know that there's some skill set there. Above that, though, Grammy, I truly tell people this is all faith. This is all divinely orchestrated because there have been just some encounters through clients and virtual assistants that I don't believe are humanly possible. I'm like, I could not have planned some situations to be better than what they were. I mean, I could not have predicted. I just had faith. I used my skills. The VAs represented themselves very well. The client articulated, and if they couldn't articulate, we helped them identify what they needed because, they have what they want. And we're like, yep, that's great. But what you need is, right, someone to do this, this, and this. And so pulling all these things together, we've been blessed to make well over 65, some odd business owner matches with virtual assistants. And some have been long term, some have been short term. Nonetheless, the majority of them have been very, very positive experiences. And I let people know there's a lot of divine intervention that comes into this because we are a praying. Camille and I pray together all the time on WhatsApp. We pray about this business. We pray about our family lives, being able to, again, be present with them and be able to provide for them, trusting God as our source, but also believing that here on this earth, we have human responsibility to serve, right? And through our service, we're able to get, sometimes it's qualitative fulfillment, and then other times it's quantitative. We get to receive compensation. And so we just talk about how we know that God is in this and he does answer our prayers. And I do believe in timing. It's hard to wait as humans. It is so hard to wait, and just trust that things are going to work out the way that they should. Yet to hear you say that you prayed, um, we started these workshops back up after a long delay. And then for us to be on the call together in this moment is just like, because I didn't know that, right? Like, I didn't
Yes.
know what your prayers were. At the same time, I'm so encouraged to know that you are a part of this network and you are praying, yes, for yourself, your life, for your dreams, yet that we're a part of that prayer that you have and that hope that you have. And that just encourages me and reminds me how important this is. This work that we do, these opportunities that we create and that come to us, what you've shared is such a pleasant reminder and such an encouragement that we absolutely need to keep building, keep evolving, and keep sharing this information and these opportunities for clients to connect with amazing VAs like yourself. So thank you so much for that.
And I just want to add, Tawana, it's actually I have I have you in my mind most of the time.
Mhm.
Since I wasn't work, I mean, talked with you before, but I feel that you're genuinely want to help, and you really focus the opportunity connect both parties, the opportunity to match the correct person to company owner, and that was hard to analyze those things. But you are so smart and intelligent person to do. I have experience to see some what do you call this job hunter, but they are more professional. If I can't answer correctly that why should I hire you, then they gonna pass me out, and then
Right.
I mean they are not see the sincerity of person. But with you, you really connect with me. You really understand the heart of the person. So uh, it's I just saw that only in you. You're such an
Mhm.
intelligent, and I think that is why you are so blessed to maintain the company that you have, and I always wish uh, uh, to grow your company more and to have a big impact in this global people like
Mhm.
us.
Thank you. That I'm like, I swear every time I tear on these conversations because we don't always see ourselves, like we do what we do, but we don't always think about what we do in a way for people's attention or acknowledgement. And so whenever positive feedback like that is shared, it's just touching because I'm like, I'm just human and I'm just trying to do my little part in the world. Using the gifts and skills that God has given me. Yet, please know that this is a mutual gift. This is a mutual opportunity because we couldn't do it without you. As much as you feel like you are being helped by us, we could not be and do what we do without virtual assistants like you saying, "Hey, let me just at least come around your way to see what you have to offer. Let me come around your way to see what you have to talk about. Let me put my name in the hat, as a candidate for a client and just see what happens, right?" And we couldn't do it without you. Also, thank you so much. Let's get right to it. So there are some questions that we may be able to answer very easily, and then there are some, that's funny. It's okay. I've got a little one too. I've got a little one too. She's just right around the corner. Yeah, she's right. We probably should be in bed at this time, but we're not. We're night owls. We're night owls.
Don't worry.
Yeah. Yeah. So sometimes it's easy to answer questions about ourselves, and other times it's difficult to answer questions about ourselves. More so than that, there are questions that we should ask the interviewer when we are considering job opportunities. And I've actually got a handy dandy notebook of questions that I have asked for years in order to help me determine. I know I've applied for this job. I've done my follow ups, to try to keep my name at the top of the list as far as being a candidate. I've shown up for the interview and, dressed accordingly, whether it's dress up or dress down. I've done what I needed to do in person and or virtually. But I still need to know, is this job for me? I understand that they're considering me for them, but are they the fit for me too? So here's some questions that I like to ask the interviewers. You ready, Grammy?
Yes, of course.
Okay. Question. I don't want to number them because you don't have to ask them in this order. But the first question is, how did you get your start with this company? So whether we are talking about a large corporation or whether we are talking about an independent founder, right? A startup founder or a founder that has some employees and they're seeking a little bit extra help in their business. I want to know how they got started. I want to know what brought them there because that's going to tell me a bit about their morals. It's going to tell me a bit about their motive or motivation. It's going to tell me a bit about their decision making patterns. Was it all about self? Or was it because maybe they had positive inspiration and or influence in their lives that encouraged them? to take that next step? Did they start, because of feedback that they got by doing things that they were already doing well, but maybe they didn't recognize it before, right? Like that question to me helps me understand how that person thinks and processes, because how they answer that question, think and process, how they do or don't elaborate into that question gives me insight on how that person's going to function when I work with them, right? So that's one question. So the question again is, how did you get your start within this? And you can fill in the blank: industry, you can say agency, you can say company, you can say, your business. Like, how did you get started? If it's not already told to you in the earlier part of the interview, you'll feel very strongly about asking that as a follow-up question. All right. The next question is, what is the most challenging aspect of achieving, you can say, goals or targets or initiatives? Again, depends on the business, depends on the agency, if you're more corporate or salesy, or if you're more social, like social human services. But from your perspective, what is the most challenging aspect of achieving targets or goals or initiatives with this business or with this company? That is going to give you direct insight on how they think and the expectations that will be placed upon you as a representative of the company or an employee or personnel, whether you're independent contractor or whatever the case. It's going to tell you how they drive work. Are they a person that only wants to see results, no excuses? Or are they a person that says, yep, results are good, but we're not going to just drive for results. We're going to look at the data and make decisions so we know what results we should be working towards, right? A question like that is going to give you direct insight on how that person or that business owner or those managers or teammates that you're working with, how they function day in and day out, and particularly as it pertains to the business work. I'm going to pause with those two questions before we go on to others. Do you have any questions about those questions or any comments about those questions so far?
I can, may I write down still?
Yes. And you know what might help if I put them in the chat too? Let's see. The other thing is we'll have this, at least the audio, if not the video and the audio, we'll have them available for replay so that you can go back and capture them.
It's fine. I will just analyze. The first question is how we did again. This
Mhm.
is about for the company.
Yes. And I've put it in the chat. How did you get your start within this business or company? That is one question you definitely want to ask. The second question is going to be, from your perspective, what is the most challenging aspect of achieving? And again, we can change out the word. You can use goals, you can use targets, you can use results, and there might be some other words that you can use. Initiatives, I think, is an example word we had. Uh, okay, so from your perspective, what is the most challenging aspect of achieving goals, targets, results, or initiatives within this business or company? Challenging. All right. Is that helpful to have them in the chat, Grammy?
Yes, this is more.
Awesome. All right. I'll keep
For
typing.
the
Mhm.
sorry,
You go right ahead.
uh, first question for how did I get my start within this stuff? First, of course, my experience is in sales industries and in 13 years, and I also, but prior to that, I have also experience in manufacturing as SMT machine operator, and this also leads me to know more in product, and that's why um, I think I want to uh, get started in sales as in a small business or because our company is small, but we have 9 employees there previously, and but we provide the needs of the manufacturing and electronics company needs like machines, small equipments, and consumable product. But we just are more on like e-commerce or trading. We just get those product from a principal from Singapore and or locally. So, but actually there are lots of needs to improve for the startup or small businesses like a website. We don't have website at those time, and um, like digital marketing. aspect. So I've always wished to provide that since especially now for a fast-paced industry, we are more in digital marketing. So I want to enhance my skills, providing my sales skills and through a digital platform like using new uh, tools and software, be more to master those tools and um, use it to gain more sales or to add revenue to the company. Also about the manpower, and I also have experience handling documents and preparing quotations, invoices, and delivery receipt, also payment receipt. So I wish to provide them those job. I mean those work. Uh, um, I mean those experience to the company, but using the correct tools proficiently. And yeah, so I think I want to start with a start a company or a small company, but have a stable income so I can continue and provide the quality that I can give. And Tawana, I want to be loyal with the company from now from now on because I want to impact with their company and help them grow. Both parties help them to be stable in the chosen industry. But and yes, more on e-commerce or product sales, like um, goods that we supply in manufacturing or electronics companies.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that answer.
Sorry, is that too long?
So, what I would suggest, there's a couple things that I really, really like about that. And then I have a really good encouragement for how you can say what you said in a more condensed format so that they can hear it, recognize your capability to do it, and recognize that you've already done these things that you want to do with this new company. And so, if you haven't checked out our last workshop, which was the effective ways to answer, basically, the effective ways to answer interview questions using the STAR method, and that's situation, task, action, and result, right? That STAR method, when you are asked an interview question and you want to go to answer it, because sometimes it's hard to A, come up with an answer on the spot, B, to narrow down when you have so much experience and when you have so many goals that you really want to relate to the customer. Like, I want to do all of these things for you, with you, and through your company. Like, I am here to support you, and here are all the skills that I have available to do so. When we want to share that, one of the best ways to be able to share that is by thinking about the STAR method: situation, task, action, result. So we talk about, well, hey, I got started in this business because I really wanted to utilize my skills, but in a way that allowed me to be more flexible and be present with my family, and that didn't limit how well and how much I can show up for the company or the customer or the founder or the owner that I'm going to be working with. There's a time when I was employed where I was asked to do, that would be the situation, right? And you fill in the blank. And when that occurred, I was responsible for, and then that gives you the tasks, right? You're able to speak to the tasks that you were responsible for, that was delegated to you as a result of the situation. And so with that, I followed up by, what action did you take? Right? Did you have to call people? Did you have to calm someone down? Did you have to, take an action that caused you to increase results, which would lead to the result? And so, as a result, I ended up helping. What was the outcome? Right? So when you think about that STAR method: situation, task, action, result, you can either choose to say the situation was the tasks I had to do, the actions I took, and the results that came out of it were, or you can choose to just have the words in your head, but walk through the steps in your answer. And that will give you a comprehensive answer to your interview question in a short time frame, so that the person that you're interviewing with says, wow, really, really gave me a whole lot in a very quick response, but I was able to see how she handles situations, her leadership capabilities, her initiative taking, and the results that she was able to help produce. And it is totally okay to share results that you maybe got as a team, as well as results that you earned independently. Both are good answers to share. And then, as you think about answering this question, this is a question, Grammy, that you are highly encouraged to ask the person you're interviewing with. So make sure that you see that both ways. It's not just a question for you to answer, it's a question for you to ask the person you're interviewing as well. All right. And same with that second question. What is the most challenging aspect of achieving with the company? That's a question you want to ask your interviewer because it gives you insight about the business that maybe they didn't talk about already. It gives you insight about them, the person, how they think, and the expectations they will have as it pertains to you working with them. Okay. Let's go into the third question. Another question that we like to ask people that we're choosing to work with, because they're going to ask us all kind of questions. So we're going to ask them questions too. The third question is, how do you see this business or this company or this role evolving in the next, 1, 2 to 3 years, right? Because that's just enough time to say, is this a role that I could potentially see myself being in or that I can expect to be in for the next 3, 6, 9, 12 months from now and beyond? Or does this seem like it's going to be a very short-term opportunity? So you want to ask, how do you see this, you can say business, or you can say role evolving over the next, type it in the chat. I'm just going to put 1 to 3 years. That's a question that you can ask the person who's interviewing you. Okay. Another question you can ask is, tell me something about serving in this position that's not in the position description. Because the position descriptions, they just don't cover everything. And they certainly don't cover those qualitative things. They might tell you these tasks, these roles, these responsibilities, these potential deadlines. My laptop won't stay up tonight, but we're gonna keep going. And so we can ask them, tell me something about serving in this position or in this business that's not in the job description. Again, that's going to give you insight to how they see the work, to how they value the role, to the type of responsibility the role will have, the type of other people the role will interact with. It's a really good question to ask to give you insight about the business. Do you have any questions about either of those so far? Put your mic up so I can hear you.
Can you?
Yes.
Yes, I used this before on my first employer. You connected to me, and since they are the specific founder or company I was looking for, I provided them lots of questions and like what currently challenging them for and the reason why they are hiring a looking for a position.
Yes.
And I also asked how many are they in the company. Sometimes I can see what what type of company
Yes.
they have, and I have questioned what type of product they are selling and how they get it. Are they the manufacturer or they are also a trader? They have a supplier also, or because sometimes in the sales industry, if our company is a manufacturer, we can bid we can get the purchase positively, or we can beat our competitor if we are the manufacturer. But if we are just a supplier also, and our competitor is of course the manufacturer or their sales itself. So we are no longer have a chance to get the purchase of project. So that is also a factor I was asked to my previous employer. So I think that is one thing they are impressed that I can handle and position that I was applied for. So
That's a good.
you're correct. You are so correct, Tawana. It depends with the market I was applying or the company I was connected to. So if we are both the same, we have both the same perspective, we can communicate and change conversation correctly.
Yes, I'm so glad you shared that. Yay! I put some hand claps in the corner. I don't know if you saw them. But it's so good that you know that certain key questions will give you very significant answers on what you're getting into. and whether or not this, and knowing early on whether or not this will work for you. Again, we can't predict everything. However, we can make more informed decisions for ourselves when we ask, key questions that go beyond what's printed on paper. So I'm so glad to hear that you've utilized similar questions with the founders that you've worked with or the companies that you've been employed by, because they only strengthen you in how you show up and even knowing how to anticipate meeting their needs.
Yes.
Awesome.
Also, reciprocate with my IO. That also gives me a specific job description where I have to provide them if they tell me what exactly job description I provide them. Because
Yes.
of course I know my strength, and I have also need to know where should I improve, or where should I impact it, or give them uh, um, value, or give them star impression, something like that.
Yes. So I've got a second question. Well, I'm sorry, we're like on the fourth question, but I've got a two-part question, another question that will provide some good information as well. And it says, what are professional development opportunities within your business or company? You can ask that. Or you could ask, what skills can I expect to learn from serving in this role? Because typically we've already answered what skills we're going to bring to the role. But I don't want a job where all I'm going to do is what I know. I want to work, I want to serve, I want to support every day in a way that helps me be excited and anticipating something new, at least from time to time. Like every day might not look brand new, but I should feel like I'm continuously learning in anything that I do in life. And so I'm going to bring skills to the role because I'm fully capable and competent, right? You're fully capable and competent. So when you apply, you're already bringing something to the table. But you also want to know, while I'm here doing whatever it is that I'm going to be doing, that this job's, opportunity, this position, this contract says I'm going to do, what am I going to get out of it beyond just pay? Right? Like, how am I going to grow and learn in this opportunity? So that's a question that you can definitely ask any employer or client or customer that you anticipate working with. Basically, it's like the wisdom factor. What's in it for me? I know what I'm going to be bringing to you. What is it? What is this going to provide for me? Right? Because skills are truly, truly transferable. There is always ask the question, especially in this modern day. Do not make any assumption on are you supportive of not just remote work, but flexible work schedules? Because you want to know, are they going to expect you to work a strict schedule from a certain point in time to an end point in time? Or will you have the flexibility to kind of do the work at your availability, but keeping in mind to meet any deadlines that are agreed upon? But you want to know, are you supportive of flexible work schedules? And then being able to remind them, typically, if they're looking at a virtual assistant, they're not totally concerned about time zone differences. However, we don't want to leave it to chance that they might be wondering, I don't know if this is going to work because we have a 12-hour time zone difference. Not necessarily so. I tell people all the time, I enjoy working with Camille. One reason is because I feel like she waves a magic wand for me. We may meet early in the morning, my time. By the time I finish my work day, whatever that day looks like, and parenting and all the things, and go to bed and wake up the next day, it's ready. Whatever it right? Like whatever it was that I talked about the morning before is ready the next day, because while I'm resting, she's up accomplishing things. Now, granted, there are times where we might need to be working simultaneously at the same time, but it's for my company, it's very rare. Usually we're working kind of opposite times, but that works for me. So we want to ask that business owner or that client, are you flexible with schedules? That way you can determine, oh yeah, this will allow me to go to my child's school, right? This will allow me to take my child to the playground. This will allow me to go to our doctor's appointments. This will allow me to, I know not to schedule anything on Thursdays because Thursday is going to be a dedicated work day, right? Like it just gives you that decision-making power on whether or not it will work for you. So that's a question that, even though most of the world seems to be remote, I do not assume that the schedules will be flexible, even though the role may be remote. Would you agree? And then we're going to look at, that's correct. Yeah. And then one more I want to share with you is, how soon do you anticipate the work to begin? Some people might be interviewing because they're just feeling things out. Is this type of support possible for my business? Can a person really do the things that I don't want to do, or the things that I need to do that I'm not good at doing, or the things that I'm used to doing, but they take me too long to do and I have other things that I need to do, right? So you want to know, are they just kind of searching around to see what's possible, or have they made a commitment? I need help and I want it as soon as possible. So I'm looking for this professional to start working with me ASAP. Right? On a designated start date, looking at the calendar, pinpointing that date, asking you, is that something you can commit to as well, and getting the work going. This question needs to be asked every interview because you want to know what your options may be. Okay.
Yes, of course. If ever they gonna ask me that, I as soon as possible because I'm really ready to the
Ready.
chapter of my career.
Yes. I love that answer. I'm ready for the next chapter of the career. This one is so good. And then let's see if there's any. Those are the main ones that I have. Sometimes I have more, but thinking about this particular workshop, this particular client readiness topic, these are ones that I think sometimes virtual assistants may either they don't think to ask, or maybe they're not quite confident about asking them. But I'm encouraging every virtual assistant, every independent, contractor, ask these questions of any person that you're seeking some level of employment with, because they're going to help you decide not only if you're a good fit for them, but if they are a good fit for you too. So I really hope this has been helpful. Thank
Oh my
you.
God. So it helps me again. It opens my mind into the reason why sometimes what actually I have interviewed since January. I'm not sure. I think it's 20 or 30 interviews. I'm always asking myself what's wrong with me? What's wrong
Mm,
with my answer? I think what you showed me, Tawana, these are, if they ask me if they have any question, always no so far. But you showed me that I must ask also question. Or maybe it's because that is not really my dream job because there are more in a BPO company. And my heart is now looking for a BA long-term job. So maybe that's why I'm interested asking questions there. But since you provided me some valued question to ask, I will uh, take it and I will I will put it on my mind always. These are yes, help me.
yes.
This will help me to know my position if ever in
Yes.
yes in a company.
Yes, I love that. Thank you so much for sharing how helpful this is for you. It definitely will help with your, like you said, your positioning, excuse me, your positioning. It will help you make informed decisions. And it will also show that business owner, right? That client that's seeking to hire a virtual assistant in whatever format of employment. Wow, this VA is thinking. She or he is very strategic. They're intentional. I like that they're willing to have the conversation and not wait for me to just talk, right? Like you asking questions evokes a conversation with the client. And so that lets them know, oh, wow, we'll be able to have an exchange during our work together. Now, you'll also be able to know if it's a type of client that they don't want to have an exchange. They just want to give you assignments and move on. That may not be your client, right? The type of client you want to work with. But also, if you have a personality where you're like, I don't really want to do a lot of talking, I just want my tasks and I want to go mind my business and finish them and come back for more tasks, then this is the kind of client, right? But at least asking the question positions you to make the best decision for you and for your family and for your career. So I'm so glad that this has been helpful. And I thank you for sharing this time with me on this VA workshop on client readiness and questions to ask on your virtual assistant interview.
Oh my God, thank you so much, Tawana.
You're
You know,
so welcome.
you're so generous. I, I never seen anyone like you. Never
Oh,
seen. Even in my very first job, you are so. I don't know how to explain it, but you are so genuinely uh, want to help people, and
yes.
that you deserve more. And this readiness it helps me a lot. I will
Yes. Yes, because it's not just with our clients, it's with any clients, right? Any clients you're seeking, whether they come from our network or anywhere else, these questions you can use and know that you can have them typed up or printed off. You can have, like you see me, I'm teaching, but I'm still referring to my notes, right? It's okay to take notes into your interviews, whether they are in person or whether they're virtual. It's do not try to stress yourself out and memorize everything. Take notes, write down answers that they're giving you, and have questions prepared that you say, oh, I've got a couple of questions I'd like to ask you as well, right? Yes. You are so welcome. Well, please continue to stay connected with us. We're doing a lot of changes in the business and with the intent to get more ready clients that will work with virtual assistants on ongoing or long-term basis. And so it's been slow and steady rebuilding. However, I'm confident in the decisions that we're making. I'm more confident in the direction that I believe God is taking us in this business and in this service to others. And I'm just really excited because it's these kind of moments that you and I are having right now that excite me the most. I really, really love sharing, exchanging conversation and perspectives about life, our experiences, and how we want to grow forward in business. So thank you so much for being with
Have a great
us.
day, Joanna, and hope to see you again.
Yes, we're going to do this again next month and we're going to keep building. So, it's a new thing. So we know it's kind of slow, but we're going to be steady and we trust that they're going to grow. And we just have really big visions and big dreams. I've even talked to Camille. I was like, I'd love to come to the Philippines and host an in-person workshop. Or we have a summit for virtual assistants. We know that with God, all things are possible. So we're going to keep doing this until we can do the next level things. But please keep coming to these workshops. Please do tell a friend because there's more than enough, information and opportunity to go around because this is a huge world. It's a huge world with millions of business owners who need our help. So that's what we're here to do. We're here to be ready for them and give them the best that we've got.
Thank you so much. God bless you.
Thank you. God bless you too. Good morning or magandang gabi on your end.
Good evening.
All right. Bye for now.